welcome to the Hidden Stats podcast. Basically, this podcast is focusing on personal growth. I tie pop culture in with personal growth. Like, we're gonna focus on leveling up. And today's episode, I have Slate here with me, and he has his own podcast. Would you like to go ahead and plug your podcast?
Yeah, sure, man. I'll do it. I'll do a shameless plug. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Like you said, my name is Slate. That's what people call me. You can call me Daniel if you want, but it's typically what I go by. But yeah, I started a venture about 7 or 8 years ago, doing my own podcast, where I learned how to produce and do everything myself, called Silver Screens and Speakers. There's still some episodes of that up. And honestly, I felt like I needed to announce that just because it feels full circle. And I don't mean to hit you in your feels, bro, but like 10 years ago, man, your brother Maurice is what got me into podcasting. Like, we had talked
For
about,
real?
yeah,
Wow.
man. Before he passed away, bro, he'd reached out to me multiple times, and we talked about doing a movie podcast and just talking about like movies that we wanted to review and stuff. And we had spitballed it back and forth, but at the time, like, neither one of us had like the vision for how to make it work and how we were going to do it, but it was an idea that we both had. And so, like, to get to do this with you now is kind of cool for me, man. And so he was the inspiration behind that. So I thought you should know that.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to drop that on you, but like, I felt like you should know. But I did that for a few years and learned a lot about podcasting and hosting a show and all of that. But it was hard trying to get a consistent basis of people to show up, 2 or 3 co-hosts to do it weekly with you. I know you already know that struggle. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah. So now I'm a co-host, I guess, on a show with 3 of us, and we bring in guests as well. That we started this year. There's quite a few episodes out. It started the first week of January, and it's weekly episodes with some bonus stuff thrown in. It's called Not Another 2001 Movie Podcast. So if you're a movie buff fan or a fan of nostalgia, I mean, we mark out over a lot of silly shit that happened in 2001. So we talk about every kind of movie that you could possibly think of. We did a draft to kind of get every category covered. And it's all about, like, do these movies still hold up 25 years later? And does this movie matter now? Did it matter then? And it's just, 3 people who love movies talking about things and agreeing and disagreeing on certain things. One thing we all agree on is A Beautiful Mind should not be the best picture of 2001, but
What is
check
it?
that out. A Beautiful Mind, the Russell Crowe movie. But yeah,
Okay.
if you guys got time, we'd love for you all to stop by. We got a YouTube page with all our videos on there as well. So, but appreciate you letting me plug that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, I'm just thankful that you're here, man, because even though, like, I tell people all the time, like, I still get nervous of having people on as far as like guests and stuff like that. And they're like, why are you nervous? I'm like, it's just because you just don't know what to expect. Not that things can go south or anything, but it just, I don't know, just like, I guess maybe I'm more so excited, I guess I should say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Especially when it's somebody you're not doing it weekly with, so you don't know how the chemistry is, and you have to kind of work through that and the flow of conversation. And I definitely know, like, things that I can say now or ask now on the podcast that I'm currently doing that I didn't know I could ask, 10 weeks ago, that would draw more conversation from, the people that I'm working with. So I totally get that.
So now that since you've had a podcast, do you find when you talk to people, like, on a regular basis, that, like, you're kind of like interviewing them in a little bit, like when you get to know people, like in a podcast sense?
A little bit, man. Like, it's funny, like, because you never want to, like, ask a question that's a yes or no question, right? Then you just leave dead air out there, and of course that's not good for anybody. But I also feel like it's natural. Like, you and me both are people. Like, we like to talk to people and learn more about people. So it's just an inquisitive thing that you kind of naturally come to. I think for me, my biggest thing is, like, when I listen back to something that I'm asking somebody, especially a guest that I have, sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should have phrased it differently. I still got what I was wanting, but maybe my question came across incorrectly, so always critiquing that.
I did the same thing with one guest. A buddy, Daniel Lewis. I hate that name. But his brother, he's into, being an actor, and so is his I guess, buddy from the Navy, and his buddy from the Navy is actually has made his own show called Shield of the North, and I
Mhm.
had them on my last podcast doing an interview, and so I'd
That's
said
cool.
something like "fake it till you make it," but, like, basically just g I meant learn as you go type, type of thing,
Yeah.
but he's just like, nah, I wouldn't say fake it till you make it." I'm like, "No, that's not what I meant."
Yep, no, dude, I'm the same way. I'll put my foot in my mouth and I'm like, "Oh, damn." So, but that was
So
it Leslie? Is that
yeah, Leslie, yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Fantasy football league. We're all in the league together, so
Oh, no, that's what's up, that's what's up, yeah.
yeah.
So what made you wanna decide to hop on this podcast since you like our guest for the episode?
Man, I saw your post on Facebook about it, and anytime I get to talk about like nostalgia and things that like I enjoyed as a kid that I still get to enjoy today, and just embracing like the inner child that you kind of
Yeah,
have told us to talk about. That was like a one thing that I just wanted to talk about because like growing up, like a lot of the things that I do now were motivations that like I had and goals that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do when I was younger.
right,
So being able to talk about like my love for childhood affinities. Yes, we're always growing, right? We're constantly growing
yeah,
up and maturing, but we can still be a kid at heart and do the
yeah,
things that we
exactly.
love too. So just the subject matter for it sounded really cool, and it's been a while since I connected with you, man, and so I just wanted to tap
Yeah,
in with you. So yeah.
yeah, I think, like, I may have seen you out and about somewhere, but I think the one place that I can remember, I think you were working at the hat store in St. Matthews or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. I worked at Lids in St. Matthews for like, well, I worked at Lids for the company almost for 10 years.
Mhm.
And then the Lids is what actually moved me back home, from Lexington. I was in school at UK and that
Oh,
didn't
okay.
work out. Stayed in Lexington for, about 5 or 6 years. And honestly, I would have stayed there. Like I was not planning on leaving Lexington. If I was going to move anywhere after Lexington, it would have been Florida or Texas. I'm a warm weather type of guy. Those,
Same.
life had different plans, but I got offered the job. I was an assistant manager there. School wasn't working out. The store manager had been with the company for like 15 years. It wasn't going anywhere, so there was no growth in Lexington. So I got offered a
Mhm.
store manager position in Louisville, and I took that. So I did that for a while before I realized that I was tired of retail. There's no
Yeah,
no
man.
money in retail, no good hours in retail. It just wasn't a
Right.
lifestyle that I wanted anymore. So
Yeah, I think my hours was all over the place. Like, it would be, stable for a good while, but then, they would require you to switch to a different shift and, this and that, just too much back and forth and
hmm
dealing with customers. That's just, something on a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, okay. So are you ready to get into these questions? Because I like to
yeah,
do like,
absolutely.
questions. I have about, see, 13 questions,
Okay.
but we can get
Oh
to
man,
whatever we can get to. So if you're ready to hop into them,
I got a question for you first, if that's
sure,
cool.
sure.
What made you decide you wanted to do this podcast?
Because I have been working on healing my inner child. There's been a lot of things that I feel like I still, I don't say suffer from, but I guess being arrested it developmentally, from a kid. And
Mhm.
so I'm working on basically figuring out what those things are so that moving forward I could, I guess set up my future self. Like my therapist, I've been seeing a therapist for the past year now, and she had me do this exercise, which is take a picture of the child that I see myself as, like the inner child, and put it where I can see it every day, which is on my desk. I'll take the camera and show you real quick. That's
Oh, that's
little old
cool,
me right
man.
there.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
cool. I like
So
that.
whenever I'm here working, doing whatever, I'm seeing that little kid, and everything I'm doing is helping that little kid heal, grow, etc. So that moving forward, that person in the future, which she had me do another exercise, which is take AI and have it age me up like 30 or 40 years. And so keep that with me. So everything I'm doing now is helping set up that person in the future. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a nice little thing where I'm helping maybe our helping 3 people at once in a sense, you know what I mean? So, like,
Sure.
my past, my present, and my future, and so there's a lot of things that I still feel like you said, yes, we're growing and we're adults and whatnot, that we still like to do that would, like, make that inner child happy, you know? Like, I remember my wife, she planned a birthday party for me, and it was at a laser tag, place or whatever, and, like, everybody, you can tell that their inner child was just, like, living their best life, man. Everybody's
Amen.
running around, smiles on their face, you know, just doing the whole 9, man. So, doing stuff like that just made me want to see what other people what they would do to, heal that inner child or make that inner child happy, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what would like, say first question, if you can go back to 1997 and give your younger self one thing you own right now, what would it be?
Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. So I would have been 6. And if I could give myself something then that I own now, what would it be? Um, all right. I'm gonna try not to think too hard about this then.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cause that's tough. Like, cause 6, it would be my jersey collection. Like,
Oh, yeah.
6-year-old me, like all I ever wanted was like a Scottie Pippen jersey, a Dennis Rodman
Mhm.
jersey, but not just like the traditional Bulls jerseys. I wanted
Yeah.
Pippen's Dream Team jersey. I wanted Pippen's All-Star jersey from the year he won the MVP. I wanted the Griffey sleeveless, Reds jerseys in 2001. All of that stuff I couldn't get when I was a kid. Like, I wanted the Pippen shoes, I wanted the Griffies, the foam posits, and
Oh,
that's all
yeah.
stuff that like I was like dying for. The big block air up tempos that say air on the side that are in Georgia
Yeah.
the Jungle. Those are the Scottie Pippen iconic shoes, and he was my favorite player. So, yeah, I mean, for me, that's what I wanted then. But I don't know if 6-year-old me would have I would have loved it, but I don't know if I would have appreciated it and taken care of them the way that
Yeah.
I do now. So, but yeah, I don't know because I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff that I have now that's
Right
like of
now.
like material value that a six
Right.
year old me would like really enjoy or appreciate or take care of. But I mean, it would have been cool to have that stuff then, of course. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, just like being able to see that kid's face light up, you know what I mean? Like it kind
yeah.
of like do your present self like so much justice, man. Like just to
Mhm.
be able to do something and I don't know, it kind of makes you just think about that kid, in inside of you. And that's what I like doing. It's just kind of, if I could do this or do that to help this kid grow more, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whether it's stand up for himself, protect this person, what have you. Like I'm trying to work on doing stuff like that because there's just a lot of things that I still need to work on, and there's a
Sure.
lot of things that I've improved upon.
if
But
if we're
yeah,
not talking materialistic and we're just talking about like life in general, I think for
mhm,
me, 6-year-old me, and all the way up till honestly halfway through college, patience.
mm,
It took so
yeah.
long for me to learn patience. I was such a short fused, hot headed kid. Like I don't know if you remember back in school, but I was always getting into fights, bro.
Oh,
Like,
really? All right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember.
I
Not
know you,
saying that
yeah.
he didn't, but
No, no, yeah. I mean, you were a few years older than me, so like, I don't think we really like were in school until like high school. I think you were a senior when I was a freshman.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, by that time, I'd kind of calmed down with the fights, but I just had no patience for anything back in the day, and it took a long time, even like once I matured and grew up and realized like, all right, fighting's not the answer.
yeah,
Um,
man.
it took a long time for me to develop patience, and I still work on that, but I'm much
Oh,
better
yeah.
than I was then. So,
Actually, that's something I've been reflecting on today. Not that I got into a lot of fights, but just basically not taking disrespect essentially. Like being in a
mm,
room where somebody who's obviously disrespecting you, you don't have to confront that person. You can just leave where you're not wanted. You know what I mean? Like you don't
sure.
have to stay in that room, just quietly exit, hit them with the Irish exit, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Hmm.
gonna go find a place where I am respected. So that's basically something that I'm working on right now. And that's if I had to give some advice to my younger self, I think that would be it, is to, always make sure that you're in a room where people, value you, they respect you, like-minded people type stuff. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
but if I can go back and give myself something, Honestly, I just got this electric drum kit, and I think that would have been something like productive for my younger self to basically just learn, even if it's just banging on, you know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
like that. So I think that would have been a dope thing that my younger self would have just lit up just having. Like, and plus it's quiet. My mom wouldn't have, had a problem with it. But
Yeah.
you did mention, the foam pods and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
is there a pair of shoes you've always wanted to rock as a kid but never got, and have you copped them yet?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, alright, if Imma put you, like, in 14-year-old Slate shoes in the sense that, at that age, my dad was, my dad had a really rough childhood with his father, and so, like, he was, out of the house, I think, by, like, 15, and his dad was kinda like, "You do your own thing, learn how to grow up and be a man," and all of that stuff, and get a job and live on your own, and, so my dad, when I turned, like, 14 or 15, he was like, "Look, you want something, you pay for it. You
Mhm.
go out and buy it. Like, I'm not paying $150 for a pair of shoes for you. If you want a pair of shoes, get a job and go buy a pair of shoes." Um, which it was like, I understand why he did it, but I think it also caused younger me smaller, or not smaller. It caused younger me, and honestly, until recently, caused me problems financially in the sense that I always looked at having a job or having money as a way to go get what I wanted. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm working 30 hours a week at Mr. Gaddy's so I can buy a PlayStation, so
Mhm.
I can do something else later, right?
Right, yeah,
Not
yeah,
save money and all that. So, like, I was
right.
never financially able to save money for the longest time. But yeah, so by the time I was 14, it was get a job. If I want shoes, I got to buy shoes. If I
Mhm.
want certain hats, clothes, whatever, jerseys, I had to buy them myself. So growing up, for me, yeah, man, there was the foam posit ones, like all the pennies,
Mhm.
the Griffey Air Max ones, all this, the Scottie Pippen shoes. Those were like the three, like, big holy grails for me. And now I own multiple pairs of each of them in different colorways.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny. These are sitting right next to me. I just got them like 2 weeks ago. I just got the pearl foams that came in the mail,
Oh, shoot.
and so they're
Nice.
like my new favorite that I've been wearing lately. But so yeah, when I'm older and now that I can buy them and they come back, so I'm like, I gotta have them. I couldn't have them as a kid, so I'm
Right.
feeding that to me now. Because by the time I was 14, 15 buying stuff, those shoes were like, retro wasn't a thing anymore. It's like, 2009 Griffey's, Pippins, like, you just couldn't get them.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I've been trying to get some, Jordans here lately, and I try to get the Wolf Grade 5s, that
Yep.
came out in, like, February, man, but it was a no-go, bro.
Yeah.
That did not happen, and so, like, I ended up, like, getting me some Aqua 8s or whatever, which,
Okay.
honestly, those are one of the most comfortable shoes that I own right now. Like, I like the way they feel. I feel like they kind of, like, just go with a lot of things that I wear. I think let's see, the 11s is what I wanted as a kid. Like, I had the taxis as a kid. Like, one day my mom,
Yeah.
she took me and my sisters, like, we skipped school and she took us to J.C. Penney. And I don't know if it was like tax money, rich or whatever, but she took us and we came home with some taxis, man. And so, like, they just
Nice.
came out with them, re-released them. What was it? Like last year, like late last year
Yeah,
or
not
early
too
this
not too
year.
long ago. Yeah, they just
Yeah.
dropped the plasmas, I think, for Valentine's weekend too, and
Yeah,
everybody went
yeah,
nuts over
yeah.
those. So
I wanted the Gammas, man, but those sold out
yeah.
like crazy too, man. Now, I actually was getting my hair cut yesterday and saw somebody with the Gammas on. It's like, damn, bro, like right in front of my
Mhm.
face.
Yeah, the gammas. I said plasma. The gammas. That's my bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I
I
know
don't have
exactly what you
that.
mean. Yeah, the dude, like the as far as like those go, like the beautiful thing now is that we have StockX, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you you know
Yeah,
if you really want a pair of shoes, you can find it. Depends on how much you want to spend on it. But that's the thing that I run into right now is like some of the shoes that I really want, I can't drop 500, $600 on. Like, I'll pay a
yeah.
little bit more for, but I ain't going that high.
Yeah, I think, like, the standard Jordan price is, like, the most I've been paying for shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if I pay a little bit more, maybe 300, maybe 350, I think that might be my limit. But I mean, I think like a lot of people who don't get that might look at it as like being frivolous, but I think it's whatever you put value into, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if you find it valuable, I mean, it's worth it, you know what I mean? So I
Right.
don't think, and I mean, if you got the money, fine. But still, I'm not going to let somebody tell me that what I decide to spend my money on is, a waste. If I find it valuable, even if it's going to be sitting on a shelf, man, like I know I got it. That's all that matters. You know what I mean?
That's how I am with my comic books.
But yeah. So you're
Yeah.
heavy into comics?
I am, but I'm also not, in the sense that, like, when I start collecting stuff, whether it's movies, comics, shoes, jerseys, whatever, a lot of
Mhm.
times I'll go like somewhat overboard. Like
Mm.
I don't have an addictive personality, in the sense that, like, I get addicted to drugs. I get addicted to, like, wanting to keep up with something that I'm currently doing, like adding series or
Yeah.
movies, comics. So I went through a phase where I bought a lot of comics, and I've got tons of boxes. I think I've got about like 8 boxes full. So I've got,
Mm.
and over 2,000 movies and more shoes than I need.
Wow.
But yeah, I got into this phase where, like, I started collecting comics that meant something to me. So, like,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, like, I kept up with active storylines, and I stopped doing that, in the sense that I was like, I'm buying 10 to 15 comics a week, and I can only read like 5. I don't have enough time to do. So I had
Right.
to learn how to cut myself out of that and figure out which ones I liked and stuff. And I don't buy them nearly as much now, but, like, I'm eventually going to get the one comic that means more than anything to me, which is Amazing Spider-Man 129, which is the first appearance of the Punisher. That is
Oh
like my
yeah.
holy grail, bro. I love the Punisher. I've got the first ever Punisher limited series run, all 5 issues, signed by Mike Zeck, who did all the artwork for it. Met him
Damn.
and got all that signed. So, like, I've got the first appearance of Carnage, like all of that
Oh
stuff. That's
shit.
like, yeah,
Damn.
yeah. That's the stuff. Like, I went to Comic Cons for about 7 years, where it was like, all right, this is kind of what I'm looking for now, And
Okay.
the last Ronin series for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I have that. I've got the first one
Damn.
signed by Kevin Eastman. So, like, I yeah, dude, so I like to
Oh,
collect comics, but I do it in spurts now. I try to be more, instead of just getting everything that looks cool and that I like, I'm trying to
yeah.
be more,
Yeah,
in
selective
depth.
about what
Yeah,
you decide to purchase and whatnot, and then it's to me, it sounds like you're doing it right, man. Like, not only do you get like the issue that you've been wanting, you actually go and have like the people who are involved, whether it's the creator or what have you, sign, that copy, which is like that's something I can only imagine never doing. Like I've been
yeah,
wanting to go to some sort of convention for some time now, like years, but I've never really pulled the trigger, which is why I asked you about it like the
yeah.
other day. I mean, you met the what's her name from Daredevil,
Yeah,
right?
Deborah Ann Wool, who plays,
Yeah, yeah.
she plays, is it Karen Page in
Yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, she plays Karen Page in the Daredevil series. She's also in True Blood. She's awesome, man.
Yeah, I just found out that her and I have the same birthday, February
Oh,
7th.
that's cool. Heck
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Right. So I'm a little pumped about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, man, if you end up deciding to go to a convention, man, hit me up. I'll definitely go with you,
okay,
and show
yeah.
you around for sure.
I got a list of the ones that will be like, I guess scheduled between April and September. So I'm trying to pick which one like sounds like I guess the best one for me to jump into, I guess. You know what I
I
mean?
got
Like,
you, for sure.
so I've been watching a little bit more anime and stuff like that here lately. So I'm like, trying to figure out like if there's going to be some people like from anime shows that I watch or like
Yeah.
just anything in general. Like I've seen people go to like a 90s con and they were meeting all different types of people, man. Like
Mhm.
Kel Mitchell, the
Yeah.
chick who played April in the original 1990s TMNT movie. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
just so many people. I'm like, damn, bro. Like I feel like I'm just missing out, man.
It really does feed your inner child. Like, when you,
Yeah.
like, I went to a Comic Con a few years back, and I got to meet Mr. Feeney. And that dude, it was so cool to just, like, tell him, hey,
Yeah.
man, like, thank you for the life lessons that you taught us as
Yeah.
kids, and I cannot wait until my daughter is old enough to where I can start sharing Boy Meets World with her.
Yeah.
And it's just one of
Dang.
those things. And now, like, my daughter went to her first Comic Con this year, and she's 8, and, like, getting to share that with her is really cool. She's like, shares my affinity for horror movies, so we started
Oh, that's
watching
what's
horror
up.
movies together, and she was most excited. Like she loves wrestling, so she got to meet a bunch of wrestlers, and
I was gonna
she's
say,
obsessed with that too. But she was actually most excited about getting to meet um Marley Renfro, which nobody on earth probably that's listening to this podcast knows who she is, but she was the body double for Janet Leigh in Psycho. She's in two
oh,
scenes. She's just the body that gets stabbed in the shower and gets dropped in the trunk. She's not really like an actress. She only has like 5 credits and they're all as body doubles pretty much.
right,
And my daughter was so excited to like meet her and ask her about what it was like to film Psycho and what Alfred Hitchcock was like and what hurt the worst and like during filming as far as like falling in the shower or getting dropped in the trunk and like to
yeah,
see like a 90-year-old woman like so excited to talk to my 8-year-old child about a movie that was made in 1960 was really cool.
yeah. That sounds really cool, man. So, like, did she ever explain why, like, she, gravitated towards, that woman, even though she only had, like, a few scenes?
I think it's just that like I, like she's a daddy's girl in the sense that like we do a
Mm,
lot of things together, man. Like
okay.
I like yes, I collect a lot of things. I buy a lot of stuff and do a lot of activities. But I also feel like my biggest collection is memories. And what I mean
Mm,
by that
that's
is like
what's up.
I'm constantly trying to create memories for my daughter.
Yeah.
Like every year we'll go do something, like I said, she's really into wrestling. So uh 3 years ago, I guess it was, or 2 years ago, we went to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. I never would have gone to WrestleMania if it wasn't for my
For her?
daughter. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But like, I wanted to take her, and
yeah,
and that gets to come full circle too, because like
yeah,
when I left WrestleMania, we were leaving. They have these limited edition seats that like have the wrestlers on them that you have to be in like the first 5 rows to get this seat. They were on
mhm.
sale for like $900 to $1,500 the next day on eBay, and one of the guys out of the stadium was like, I'm flying tomorrow and I can't take this. Do you want it? And I said, yeah, we'll take it. So we got a limited edition chair that's got Cody Rhodes on it. And Cody Rhodes won the
Man,
title and he was her favorite. And then last year I took her to meet Cody Rhodes and he signed the chair for her. So
what?
like,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
you know what I mean? Like stuff like
That's
that is what
crazy.
I'm trying to do. So like,
Yeah,
I collect stuff for me, but my biggest thing is like trying to create memories with my daughter. And I think that like
yeah,
doing stuff like that and then sharing my love for horror movies, my love for Reds baseball games and just baseball in general. Like I took her to a game at Wrigley Field that the Reds weren't even playing at because hey, it's Wrigley Field. Like, and she
mm.
thought that was cool just to be able to see like the ball get stuck in the ivy and enjoy that. And so, from yeah, that's I don't really necessarily know where I was going with that, but like I think that she
I mean, it's a
gravitated
cool story,
mostly.
man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think she just
Yeah, no
gravitated to
problem.
Marley because like she is really into horror movies and Psycho is one of her favorites. She like I started my daughter off with the black and white Dracula film as the first ever horror movie I introduced her to because I was like,
Wow.
if you can tolerate like the older stuff and learn where horror movies kind of came from and these are a little bit more child friendly because it's not a lot of language and gore and I don't want to traumatize you. I want you to
Right.
understand that it's a performance and enjoyment. And so like
Mhm.
being able to share that with her and explain to her that like, hey, if something is too much for you, let me know and we can turn this off. We don't have to watch it, but I want you to know like this is like how these movies were made and what it is. And I think it went a long way to like now she watches Michael Myers movies with me and we went and saw Black Phone and in Black Phone
Yeah.
2 in the theater, and she gets scared, but she's also like, no, that was really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like I started with the black and white stuff with Dracula, Frankenstein, and when I was like, when we're ready for slashers, I'll introduce you to Psycho. And that was like the first slasher she ever saw. And
Mhm.
like, she was hooked. And so like, I think that
So
was what drew her to that was just that it's Psycho.
okay, yeah, and that's cool, man. Because I think my daughter may have, like, a knack for, like, the horror elements or at least the thrillers. She keeps talking about, like, what is it? The Stranger Things, and,
Okay.
I remember one day I was up watching it one night, and she was supposed to be asleep, and I look over, her eyes just wide open, just taking it all in, you know? So I had to,
Hmm.
like, make sure she was asleep, but I think she's definitely gravitated towards that type of, genre,
How,
essentially. But,
how old were you when you started watching horror movies?
ooh, man, I think younger than her because I remember, shoot, watching Candyman. I was just telling somebody the other day, like after the movie was over with and we filed into bed,
Mhm.
and I'm like awake, man, just petrified, bro. And I look
Yeah.
at the doorway and I could have sworn I seen his figure just standing right there. And I'm like screaming. My mom and dad rush in there, they flick on the lights, and then I'm just like, he was just right there, you know. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so I was pretty young, whatever. Do you know what year that came out? The original Candyman?
Candyman, man, I wanna say it was, like, late '80s, early '90s, right? It had to be
Yeah, it was
'93, maybe?
definitely early 90s. Let me
It's
see.
funny you say that, man, because, like, my daughter was asking about Candyman because, she act like I let her listen to a band called Ice Nine Kills. I don't know if you've ever heard of them,
Mhm,
but I let her listen to certain songs by them. They're like a heavy metal band, but they make movies or make songs based off of horror movies. The
mhm.
first Candyman was 1992.
Okay, so,
So
I would've been 5, yeah. So I
okay,
was watching all that stuff when
yeah,
I was, like, 5, man. Yeah,
yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah. But it's funny you said that because like I let her listen to some of their music that are based off of horror movies that she likes, and
Mhm.
she's becoming a little a little metalhead that likes that stuff, which is cool. We share that too. But played a Candyman song for her, and she's been asking about that, and I'm like, when you're a little bit older, I don't know about Candyman yet. That one might be a little rough. Um, I think certain movies I try to wait till she's a little bit more mature because I think that some of
Yeah.
the subject matter and the storytelling, like the scares are
Oh,
there, but like when she starts to ask questions about like why this person chose this or what does this
okay.
mean, that those are harder conversations that I want her to be a little bit older for.
Right, yeah.
So
I remember even watching Pumpkinhead, man, when I was a kid. I don't know if
yeah,
you've watched it. Just different scenes from all those movies are still burned into my memory, you know, and
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think I went back and watched them since, you know, so I think, yeah, it's a good thing you're probably, like, letting her
I try
take
I
some
try to
time
ease
to
her in,
enjoy a
you
little
know,
bit.
certain things.
Yeah.
Like she wants to like for Halloween last year, we dressed up like Chucky and Tiffany from,
Wow,
Child's
nice.
Play. She loves Child's Play, but she's never even watched it. And
Mhm.
but she like enjoys these characters and likes them for some weird
Mhm.
reason. But I've never let her watch Child's Play because even though when I was her age, I'd already seen like every Child's Play movie made.
Right.
I feel weird about like having to explain to her some of the phrases and things that Chucky says that are a little too
Right.
adult for her still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird. Like I don't know. It's like I try to moderate it somewhat and find
Yeah.
movies that if I could find a TV version of it, like the first time we watched Halloween, I found a TV edited version on AMC Plus that doesn't have the nudity in it. I was like, cool,
Okay,
we can
cool.
watch this one, you know?
Right.
So
So what, like, stemmed your love for horror? Like, is it like
man, honestly, bro, I think that I hate to say this, but I think that my brother is a lot of like what inspired me to be what I am as far as anything, a lot of
mm,
stuff goes because my brother's 12 years older than me. We have the same mom, but a different dad. And, he wasn't around a whole lot when I was growing up, but every time he was
yeah,
around, it was like, man, I want to do stuff that my brother does. And like
okay.
my brother was a Kentucky fan. My brother was a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm a fan of both of those. You know, my brother
Yeah.
took me to my first ever Reds game to see Ken Griffey Jr. when I was a kid, and like that's why I love Ken Griffey Jr. You know what I mean? Like so,
Yeah, that's what's up, yeah.
um, so I think, and he was into horror movies.
Mm,
I asked you that question about how old you were because I distinctly remember my grandmother, my mom's mom, passed away when I was 7, and I
mm,
distinctly like the first memory I ever have of horror movies is watching Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, in her house in Florida. So when I must have been 5 or 6 or 7, at the latest 7, and watching that movie at her house. And I still remember like them digging up Jason's grave and a lightning bolt striking
mhm.
it and bringing Jason back to life. And so, I think that just my brother introducing me to like horror movies and stuff like that is what got me into where I'm at. And I don't know, man, there's just something fun about
That sounds
the
cool.
creativity behind like the practical effects and spookiness and,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it kinda sounds like whenever your brother came around, it was kinda like a holiday for you know what I mean?
It honestly felt like that for real.
That's how, like, it feels whenever, like, when I was a kid, my uncle would come around, like, my dad's brother, like, he would take us to, the Atlantis water park and just fun stuff like that, like Kentucky
Yeah,
Kingdom, and, he would get, like, these huge super soakers, so it was kind of, like, super fun whenever he came into town because he lives in Minnesota. We
right.
only got to see him maybe, like, once a year or whatever, which I don't really see him too often, but I speak with him every so often. So is there a hobby that started as an adult that would make your 10-year-old self think you're the coolest person?
Man, probably not. I think my 10-year-old self would have made fun of me more than anything. Well, actually, no. Well, I was gonna say like, cause I got into softball like as an adult. I stopped playing baseball, got into travel softball, and so I think like 10-year-old me would have been like, "That's a girl's sport, man. Like, what are you doing? Go play baseball. It's so much harder." But also, I think 10-year-old me would have like, if 10-year-old me had seen the like the comic books that I have that I kind of ran through. I've got one comic book that is a limited Punisher that only has 500 copies of it in the entire world, and I had
Mm,
one of
mm,
those. You know what I
damn,
mean? So like,
yeah,
I think
crazy.
younger me would have saw that stuff and would have been like, "That's cool."
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
but it's funny because like that would have been another thing too. Like older me would have like if I could tell 10-year-old me like, dude, don't care about being like nerdy for collecting comics. You know what I mean? Like felt like when I was 10, you didn't collect comics. You might go to the comic book store and check out some
Right.
stuff, and even if you went with your boys, y'all were buying like the toys or action figures, but like nobody was like sharing like the limited stuff that they had. And it's like, nah, man, if you started earlier, you could have had so much more stuff now that you would like.
Yeah. The
So
people who were probably collecting comments were, um, people probably thought they were the people, like, from Big Bang Theory, you know what I mean? So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, you're a nerd. You're
Right,
reading, Superman, and it's like, nah, man. Like, I don't know. It's and then especially because like the big comic book boom, like started with Spider Man, but it's really took off with the MCU stuff, and now like
right.
everybody's theorizing about what storylines from 10 years ago that they're gonna put
Mhm.
into the movies, and it's like, man, I could have had those comics and like already known.
Um
You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that, like, the Punisher is your favorite, I guess, comic book hero,
Yeah,
because I was watching the, 1990s, Spider-Man series, the animated
the
series,
animated series.
and
Yeah.
it was the episode that the Punisher was trying to, like, take down Peter because he had already grew, like, the extra 4 arms, and then he
Hmm.
ended up, like, mutating into the Man Spider, and that's what a lot of people think is gonna happen with this, the what is it called? The Brand New Day movie.
Yeah. Brand new
So
day. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm excited to see that because I've been gravitating towards Spider-Man, a lot more within the past couple of years. I haven't read any of the comics per se,
Mhm.
but as far as like the shows, the movies, like the video games and all that stuff, and just like the idea of Spider-Man just can be like a universal hero, but also he's like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like he would
Yeah.
like playing the game, there's a side quest where you help a guy track down his pigeons that they
Yep.
basically released. You know what I mean? Because he got
Yeah.
evicted from his apartments and he had pigeon coop on top of the roof or whatever. And so since they evicted him, they let his pigeons go too. So
Yeah.
as Peter or Spider Man, you're tracking down these pigeons to bring them back and do a favor for somebody in your neighborhood, man. So I
Absolutely.
mean, it's stuff like that. And, I resonate with Peter putting everybody before himself, and
Mhm.
sometimes it can seem like the nice guy finished last or the Peter Parker curse or the Parker curse or whatever people call it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I resonate with that. I've put a lot of people first, and not that I regret a lot about that, but,
Mhm.
for the most part, I do think that, I'm starting to try to put me first as well. You know what I mean? In certain
Absolutely.
regard. So, like going to the Comic Con, I think that's one reason why I haven't been is because I guess I kind of feel guilty for, pulling that trigger because then it'd be me just like there just geeking out at everything at every single turn. You know what I mean? So, but I took down all the information about all the ones in the near future in the next couple months so that I can just get to have that experience. Yeah, but I think Spider-Man, if I had to say in the Marvel universe, is probably my favorite hero.
Mhm.
I don't know, I can't. maybe Batman in the DC universe, because I was watching, the latest Batman with, what's his name
Robert
from Twilight.
Pattinson.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really good, man.
it is, man.
The
Like,
Penguin
it was
series that matches it too is amazing. If you haven't seen that, check that out.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty good, and I was because they was playing when I was getting my haircut yesterday, and there's, like, so many moments where I'm just, like, sitting there getting my haircut just smiling because it's just like I'm like, "Damn, this is Batman, bro." Like, this is, like, all the
Yeah.
stuff he's doing, like, having the adrenaline in his utility belt, you know what I mean? Just
Hmm.
going through mobs of people, bro. I'm like, "That's Batman, dude." Like, that is Batman.
Yeah,
Like
I think that it's funny because I definitely think that the MCU and the Marvel movies for the majority are better than the most of the DC movies. But
yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, when I was like burning through comics, the DC stuff, especially like the Batman spinoffs and just the Batman storylines were really, I always thought the most interesting stuff. And it's because the villains were great too.
Mhm.
But going back to Spider-Man, and Punisher. There's two storylines that happened when I was first collecting comics as an adult that if they ever hit like screen, I think would be amazing. And
Mhm.
with one of them with Spider-Man is the main villain is the Red Goblin, which is Norman
Mhm.
Osborn has I believe he's kind of like been healed from being the Green Goblin and like back living like a normal person and everything, and has like come to terms with being a good dude again. And somehow he is driven mad into the Green Goblin that merges with the Carnage symbiote and becomes a Red
Mm.
Goblin.
Damn.
Yes, that storyline
That's
is crazy.
crazy.
If you have time, check that out. And then there's a storyline with the Punisher where Nick Fury assigns the Punisher to take out basically I think Baron Zemo and some other mercenaries overseas or whatever, and but it cannot be known about through the government and everything else, and they give the Punisher the War Machine suit. And
So does he paint the
yes,
skull
it's he paints the skull on the War Machine suit, and it is
That's
the
sick,
coolest
dude.
thing I've ever
God
seen,
damn, that's
bro.
sick.
So yeah, Matthew Rosenberg wrote that set, and that's a really good set too. So I'm dying for that to take place. Like those
That
two
would
things and the last Ronin comics are the three things I need on film before I die.
I mean, now that Punisher's, like, has been canon in that universe, I mean, he's, like, now in the Spider-Man, world and
Yeah.
whatnot, which is, like, canon with the Iron Man and stuff like that. It'd be cool, man. It'd be cool to see somebody who's a little bit more aggressive and anti-hero just take up the mantle wearing the War Machine suit, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and it's cool because like they bring in like Spider-Man and Tony Stark, like Iron Man are trying to like get him out of the suit, and they're like he's
He
starting to
punished
fight the
again, like,
Avengers and stuff because yeah, and he's like, nah, man, these people deserve it, and it's pretty cool. It's a fun storyline for sure.
that sounds like a fun story, man. I'm gonna have to look into that. I seen where I read a story where there's like some sort of like arachnid entity that's taking the powers away from the spider,
Hmm.
societies. Basically, it's in the universe where Norman Osborn is, I guess, what do you call that? A reformed person,
Yeah,
essentially using his resources, like his money and whatnot, to develop the suit and tech for Peter, and basically he's like the oracle for Peter as he's like, going
gotcha.
through that universe and whatnot. And you got like little accents of green within his like spider suit, just
Hmm.
kind of like a homage to like the Green Goblin and whatnot. But it's really cool because like you see your favorite spider heroes essentially get their powers taken. But then there's like a plot at at
Right.
the end that they uncover eventually. But it's a really cool story.
I've heard some good
But,
stuff about the Absolute stuff with DC now too, like Absolute Batman.
oh yeah, yeah. That's
A
what I'm
buddy of
hearing.
mine, his son is reading that stuff currently. Like his son's about 16 or 17, and he's starting to get into comics, and he's telling me all about
Okay.
these cool storylines with Absolute, and I'm like, man, that might be something I start sliding into. So
Yeah. I don't know if you how you feel about like audio series, like just listening to like people actually act whatever storyline. Like there's a
mhm.
Marvel's Wastelanders where it's like post-apocalyptic. There was a war that happened where it just released all these nukes and just like nuked the entire world. And a lot of heroes and villains have died, but the heroes are like hiding and hiding because like the villains like Baron Zemo, the Red Skull, and I think Doctor Doom all have like different sectors of the world that they control, and they have everybody convinced that they're the heroes, and the heroes are actually the villains. So that's why they're in hiding. And so you
Nice.
got these older, more grizzled heroes who like Hawkeye lost his vision, but yet he's still like the marksman shooter that he is. And then you
Hmm.
got like Wolverine, who's like basically hiding out on a farm and whatnot. And you got like he's basically hiding out with this character who Danny Glover plays, which is super cool.
That
And
is
like,
cool.
what's her name? What's her name? Susan Sarandon actually plays Black Widow. And so you got
That's
all
dope.
these like cool, like well-known actors, A, B-list actors playing these your favorite heroes. Like Chris Elliott, he's the voice of
Hmm.
Rocket Raccoon. You know what I mean? So
Nice.
it's I'll send you the link to that. It's
Yeah.
on Spotify, and I think you'll enjoy it if you have free time to like just listen to it. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like it immerses you in the world with like the sound effects and everything, and like it has a lot of plot twists and whatnot that you won't see coming, which is super cool.
No, I'm here
But
for that for sure.
oh yeah,
Because I like, I work two jobs. One of my jobs is driving around delivering stuff all day, and so I listen to a whole lot of podcasts. Anytime there's new movie or music and stuff, like I listen to new
mhm,
albums and stuff. But podcasts get me through the day. But even when I'm not listening to podcasts, I will find a book to listen to, and I will
that's
never
what's up.
forget the first time I listened to Will Patton read The Shining, and he's just awesome, man. Like
Yeah.
so like if audiobooks are cool, so I'm definitely here to hear like all these different actors come together for a comic storyline. That's dope.
Yeah, it's honestly like every time we get on this subject, I'm like basically the spokesperson for that series or just really audio series in general. I mean, it's like an audio book, but like, a series that, you just get to listen to. Like they even have like a Batman series. I think it's called Batman Unburied. I think Winston Duke from like the Black Panther who plays
Yeah.
what is it, M'Baka, I think
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, you know what I mean? And
That's
so
dope.
he loses his memory. And so there's different things throughout the story that's kind of like triggering anxiety, but the anxiety is like it's kind of like bridging the gap between something. And like once you start to like
Figure out what it
hear more
is.
and put pieces together, it's like, oh, okay, okay, I think I see where this is going. But it's a fantastic cast, man, a great read, man. It's like a different spin on like, the whole Batman story. So
Oh yeah. That's dope.
send that as well. But so growing up, did you watch Saturday morning cartoons?
I did, man. Like I don't distinctly remember like always watching them because a lot
Hmm.
of times, like especially in the summer, I was playing
Oh,
baseball, every
all right.
or hanging out. But like I definitely watched Saturday morning cartoons. I remember growing up, like seeing the commercials, like for the ABC with all the different like
Mhm.
Animaniacs characters, kind of like interacting with Disney or Cartoon Network characters and stuff. So
Right.
I remember watching them. I was big into like Hey Arnold and Rocket Power though. I was more of a
Okay. Yeah.
Nickelodeon kid.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I was we didn't have cable back then, so it's just like just basic television or whatever. So
Mhm.
we did watch Recess, and
Yep.
that's when I got to watch like the Spider-Man animated series and
Okay.
the X-Men animated series, which I love that they did X-Men 97, which
Yeah,
is
dude.
just dope, bro. Like straight up just dope, man. And
Exquisite.
oh,
It's so
man,
good.
just I feel like they gave Cyclops, his aura back, you know what I mean? Because I
And
feel
that's
like
my favorite X-Men. So I
oh,
was right
really?
there with you. Yeah, I love
That's what's
Cyclops.
up.
Love Cyclops.
I've always like loved Colossus, man. He's always been my shit. I don't know if you've been to the A12 Rec Bar. They have that old like arcade game from the 90s with all
Mm,
it's like four players and it has Nightcrawler, I think Wolverine, Storm, and Colossus, man. Like Colossus was
nice.
always my dude, man.
I
Like
got you.
I love him, dude. And I think Gambit, if I had to pick between all of my favorite X-Men, Gambit would probably, take the cake for sure. I love his
Oh, yeah.
ability.
I've actually got a buddy of mine that knows I collect comics. He used to have a bunch. He gave me a copy of the X-Men cover that folds out. That's the first ever cover where Gambit is wearing the blue and yellow. It's
I'm gonna have to see
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'll send you a pic of it. I'll have to look in my
Yeah,
boxes and find it. I'll send
yeah,
you
I'm
a
gonna have
pic.
to see that. That sounds cool. Like I like that Channing Tatum got his like crack at Gambit in the Deadpool and
Yeah.
Wolverine movie. I'm wondering if they're gonna do anything more with that, but I feel like Gambit is one of those underutilized X-Men or, just
Right.
heroes in general that we've gotten so many different people, but Gambit is kind of just on the back burner, and that upsets me.
Dog, that's how I
But
felt with Punisher for the longest time until Bernthal came along. And I think it just depends on once you are able to find the right actor to bring that character to life and you have the right substance as far as writing goes, then you're ready
right.
to take off. And I don't know if we've ever found that with Gambit, which is it's not fair to that character at all because he definitely should
Right.
have a series or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just like to chalk it up to he just has too much aura, and it's just hard to find somebody to to match that. You know
Fair,
what I
that's
mean?
fair.
But so do you think John Barenthal is like nailing the role as the Punisher,
Man,
as
he's
Frank Castle?
he's A1, bro. Like Dolph Lundgren, he's so 80s, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and that movie was what it was. I honestly
Hmm.
hardly ever even try to consider that as a Punisher movie. It's just an action movie that has
Yeah, a
the
movie with
Punisher in
the
it.
title Punisher
Yeah.
that's like Punisher adjacent.
Um, but I did love Tom Jane's version of it. I mean, for the
Yeah, I
longest
did too.
time, I was like, nobody's really going to be able to touch that. He nailed it, and I wish they would make
Yeah,
more. And like Punisher Warzone was, I hated that one.
you hated it.
I did.
I was
I
gonna say
hated
it's
it.
like they went like ham on like just it being excessive, man. Like I remember there
Yeah.
was like some hardcore dude who did like this flip over some gate trying to like escape, but then the
Uh huh.
Punisher had a rocket launcher and like
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like, yeah, it was like so of its time. It's one of the things that we talk about in my podcast about the 2001 movies. Is some of these movies, especially like the sequels, are very like 2001, and they're what's wrong with sequels, or they're
yeah.
what's wrong with movies at this time that they do too much excess or whatever. And so I don't know. Warzone wasn't my favorite, and but
Mhm,
like I remember watching Walking Dead and was like, dude, I love this guy. Like the guy that
mhm.
plays Shane is great.
Yep.
I hope he does more things. And when they killed him off the show, I was sad because I liked Shane's character and I loved his
Yep.
performances. But I was excited because I was like, he's gonna get a run with something.
Right. They give some
And
freedom to do more things or,
yeah,
more roles.
and he started popping out in a bunch of different, smaller roles. He ended up, obviously like in Scorsese's movie Wolf of Wall Street, and he's in a lot of Taylor Sheridan flicks as well. And so I just kept following him. He's in a really good movie that's a low budget film called it's called Small Engine Repair.
Okay.
It used to be on Hulu, but it's a really good movie that seems like it's kind of a character based film and about three
Yeah.
friends that are really good friends, but like can't always get along, and they have kind of like a separation, and then something happens, and once you find out what the movie's about, it's actually fucking insane.
Mm.
But Small Engine Repair, check that out. But when he was announced as Frank Castle, I was like, he brings the intensity and the aura. Like
Mhm.
I knew he was gonna kill it, and as soon as he like pops on the screen in Daredevil season 2, I was just like, it was like my dream had finally come true. Like I have
Yeah.
the guy, you know what I mean? So like I've been fighting for every second of John Bernthal as Punisher as much as I can get. So I cannot wait for his One Last Kill series and to
Okay.
see him on the big screen with Spider-Man. And I just hope they would just keep pushing out as much Bernthal as
Yeah, just
possible. I love it.
so how did you feel when you felt like that series was canceled, but then now that they're bringing it back, you know what I mean?
I was extremely disappointed. I
Yeah.
knew he was on the chopping block with Netflix and Disney and all of that when Marvel was coming over, and I was like, the Punisher series is too adult. Disney's not gonna want to touch it. If they do it, it'll be like a cameo. He'll never get another run, and so it was nice to see like Disney be like, all right, you know what, Daredevil Born Again, we're gonna go all out, and they did, and
Yeah.
they kept the same, the same tone that the Netflix movie or the Netflix series had, and kept the same characters and actors, and so when that happened, I was like, all right, we might get some Bernthal. I never in my wildest dreams thought we were gonna get Bernthal like in Spider-Man on like in a movie.
Yeah.
Um, but I
It
was
looks like
like excited with
it look
that, and then when they announced he was getting the one shot like limited episode, I was like, that's kind of like like a Disney movie, like.
yeah.
But I need another series, man. Give me 8 episodes. I
Yeah.
need 8 hours. Give me 10 episodes. I
Yeah,
don't care.
sure. Yeah, like, I love, like, how, like, him his and Daredevil's relationship, like how he's just like nicknamed Daredevil Red. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like
Yep.
it. It's really like, it's kind of like he put a piece of himself in the Punisher, you know what I mean? It's like I could
Absolutely.
see John Barenthal being that guy who calls, make nicknames up for people, Red or whatever the case may
Right.
be. But I saw that he was on like a late night television show or talk show where he was just like, when he got the role, man, he went straight to the comic book store and like
Yeah.
asked the person like, "Hey, look,
Mm.
I got this role. I need to, study up on the Punisher." And they like took him through the whole spread, man.
Yeah,
So,
he was just looking through just whatever Punisher stuff that he thought looked cool or whatever, and the guy was like, "Hold on, I want you to do this role,
oh,
and I want you to do it
yeah,
right." And so he set him up with like the key stuff that he needed to know. Which so
yeah,
hats
yeah,
off to that guy for sure, but
for
also
sure,
hats off
yeah,
to John for putting in the effort because like he easily could have mailed it in for a check, but
yeah, yeah.
what I love about John is he is a man of principle too, in a sense that like he almost didn't come back for Daredevil Born Again because originally he didn't like the writing for the character. He
Okay,
had some arguments with, the writers about like, this is not what my Punisher Frank Castle would do. And so like, I'm not going to join it if it's not something that I believe is true to the character. So for him to be able to like stand on his morals for that and still make it work. And
yeah.
then, yeah. So like, I love that. Love that about John.
Yeah, and, like, you need people like these actors who care about these characters, you know what I mean? Because if you're gonna invest in the character, man, like, you need to, like, care about them, man, and that's something that
Mhm.
I've always had admiration to, like, even, I forget his name, the guy who plays, Wilson Fisk. He does not
Vincent
like it when
D'Onofrio.
people Yeah, he does not like when people phone it in, like, he wants you, like, invested, like,
Mhm.
he needs you, like, if you're gonna sign up for this part, it's no half-ass anything, it's whole-ass everything, like Ron
Yeah,
Swanson, you know what I mean?
absolutely, bro.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I love that, and you can feel it with Wilson Fisk, like, every time he's on screen, it's just like you're tense, you wanna hold your breath because you don't know, what he's gonna say, what he's gonna do to who, it's just I love that about him, he really, like,
Mhm.
nails that character, like, I see Wilson Fisk as him, like, from here on out, like, since I've been watching him. Um,
Absolutely.
so, what is one piece of advice your healed adult self would give to that kid waiting to turn on the PlayStation? Like, did you grow up with the PlayStation?
Hell yeah. Growing up, we were the N64 household for the
Mhm.
longest.
Okay.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on N64 was my
Mhm.
jam. So I was a 64 guy. And then when the PlayStation 2 came out, Twisted Metal Black. I went through every
Um,
single character's storyline, and
yeah,
I
that's what's
I
up.
loved John Doe's storyline. He was one of my favorites. But Mr. Grimm was always my favorite growing up. But it was cool to see like Twisted Metal come back and get a TV series run, and that's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So I was a PlayStation kid. But for me, I think adult me telling the kid that's getting ready to hop up on the PlayStation, um, I think I'd probably give myself types of uh two different types of intellect or knowledge, and one of them would be work harder at baseball. You love baseball, like
Mhm.
set yourself up to do more in baseball, even if
Yeah.
you don't, even if you don't uh, make it professionally. And I had colleges look at me, and I had a tryout with a professional team. I obviously didn't make it, but I
I
did it.
mean, that
But part of me thinks that when I was younger at that age, when that happened, if I had pursued it more, somebody would have maybe taken a chance on me. And I don't think I did. I think I was like, well, I tried it and I gave up, or I tried it and it
yeah.
didn't work out. And so like, I think that, I've got a nephew now that's got colleges looking at him, and he's got more opportunities than I ever had because when I was younger, we didn't have all these different coaches that you could pay for lessons, and you just had to
Mm,
put in the work,
mm.
with your little league coach or your high school coach. And like, so, but I think I would have said, hey, if you're really serious about baseball, like just do as much baseball as you can and give him some ideas and pointers or whatever. That would have been cool. But other than that, I think it would have been like, enjoy this. And what I
Yeah,
mean by like this is enjoy being a kid. When you're
yeah.
10 years old and you're a kid, it's like you don't register. You're worried about like, oh, mom and dad's mad at me because I didn't clean the room or I didn't take out the
Yeah,
trash. And like,
right.
you don't realize that like when you're 18 and that first like real bill hits and you ain't got the money for it, and you're having to call mom and dad and be like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm short on rent." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and you're stressed about those things. Like even then, like it's like, man, like enjoy being a kid as long as you can enjoy being a kid. Because even when you're an adult, you have those kid moments and kid tendencies. It's because you're chasing that, and we never get it back
Yeah. I mean, hence
authentically.
this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, because I try to like tell my daughter like every time she says that she's bored because she's so used to constant like stimulation from this or that. Like I tell her that being bored is a privilege because there are people like you and I or anybody who don't have that time to slow down to be bored to appreciate that free time that they have. So being bored is a privilege. Like you have the opportunity to decide what you're going to do next, right? You have the
facts.
opportunity to go make some kind of craft or, if you want to go ride your bike or whatever the case may be, like that boredom is like, I guess, currency in a sense because people will pay to have that boredom, to have that free time. So I'm trying to like instill that
Yeah,
into her, you know what I mean?
I like that.
So if I think I'm trying to figure out what I would tell myself uh about to turn on that PlayStation because I mean there's so many things. I guess, um maybe I guess, I don't know, it's okay, man, like, to be yourself. Like, don't try to people please and don't try to be the chameleon out there to try to fit into different groups and stuff like that. Like, find those people who accept you for you. And I touched on that earlier, but I think that is a big thing for me. And that's just something that I want to ensure that my daughter growing up is that she's not like being that chameleon trying to fit into groups, trying to fit
Sure.
into where she doesn't belong, because I know what that's like, and it would honestly probably break my heart just to see her just chasing, this group, that person, whatever the case may be. Like if you don't rock with me, fine, that's cool. We can coexist or we can go our separate ways, but we don't have to force anything if it's not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no, I totally get that because like that's going back to something like that you're saying is one of the other things that I probably would have told myself at that age, especially like when I got to being in high school and middle school, would have been, these people are your friends now and you're close and tight with them, but like life hits you and you're gonna
mm,
go your separate
yeah,
ways. Like
right.
I'm
Yeah.
not, my best friends from high school, I still got love for them.
Right. Same, same.
But they're not like my best friends. I don't confide in them. I confide in my other best friends that I've been friends with since college. You know what I mean? Like my
Mhm.
closest bonds have been built mostly since from the time I was 18 to 25, not from the time
Yeah.
I was 5 to 18. If that
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so like that and like you said, being proud of who you are, my it's something I struggle with the daughter or the mother of my daughter in the sense that like obviously my daughter is a 8-year-old girl, but she
Mm.
loves wrestling. She wants to
Yeah.
like she like for kindergarten they asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up and she said WWE Women's Champ. Okay. Um, I cool. Like I'm gonna support that. I'll buy you wrestling
Yeah.
t-shirts. I'm gonna take you to wrestling shows and stuff. And her mother sometimes like she supports it and likes it, but like her mother sometimes is like, does she need to wear wrestling shirts every single day? Like she's gonna get made fun of when she gets older for liking wrestling. And I want to be like, I,
Let them.
I tell her, I'm like, you know what? That's fine. She'll know who her real friends are. And when she gets
Yeah.
older, if she's still into it and she really does want to do it, if she's chasing that goal, chasing that dream, and like even remotely gets close and makes a living out of wrestling or doing whatever she wants with wrestling, whether that be covering it as a podcaster or making
Yeah.
YouTube videos or whatever, being a referee that
Yeah.
travels the world, like they'll be like, damn, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? It may not be
Right.
cool
Yeah.
then, but when she's older, it might be cool. So,
Right, yeah, she might be like, an agent of, different
yeah,
wrestlers or something like that. Who knows where she's gonna learn? I mean, she might be on the top of that turnbuckle with the belt, you know what I
right.
mean? Who
Exactly.
knows, man?
So,
But,
si
let her decide, you know what I mean? And
mhm,
another thing my therapist and I have been working with, like this mentality is to let them. If people have a problem with whatever, you're wearing, doing, saying, how you're living your life, let them. That's not your problem. And that's what I've been telling my daughter
yep,
on the way home from school last week. I was telling her, I was like, you may like an outfit, you may love it actually, and somebody's not gonna rock with it, and they're gonna try to tell you that it's ugly or whatever the case may be. I mean, you know how kids are, and I
Right.
was like, "That's their problem. That's not your problem." You know what I mean? Like, if you like it, you like it. Don't let somebody tell you what you should like or to feel, insecure about things that you're into, you know, because it starts with that outfit, and then
Mhm.
it, like, snowballs into just your whole, I
Your
guess,
weight or what you're
identity.
eating and then
Yeah, exactly.
insecurities. Yeah, I
So, I
get that.
mean, just let people do and say or think whatever. I mean, don't let somebody physically bully you or anything like that for sure, but for sure, just let them do their thing, exist in their own lane, and you can just do what you want to do. Like be that person who wants to explore and open up and find different whatever may interest you. Like I want her to explore that stuff, and she seems like a
Absolutely.
fashionista. Like she loves, dressing up and looking nice. She
Mhm.
loves little fake press on nails that she like she got
Yep.
like so many
And
different sets for her birthday, which was yesterday. And she just does that
happy birthday
thing
to
where
her.
she like taps on the bottles, which kind of like drives me crazy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, my daughter is similar in that way that she does the girly stuff too, right?
mhm.
She wants to do like I take her to plays and she likes watching like middle school, high school plays, Derby Dinner, like professional
Yeah,
plays, Broadway musicals. She gets her nails done. She likes her makeup. She likes to do her hair and get dressed up and wear dresses too. So I'm not like raising just like this whole little tomboy that's like
yeah,
anti girl. You know what I mean? Like I try to make my
sure.
daughter as well balanced in everything possible. But look at us, two little girl dads, man. That's cool.
Yeah, honestly, like, I wouldn't change it. It was
No,
like that, like the gender reveal party when people's like, "Are you team girl, team, boy or whatever?" I'm like, "I don't care, man. Like, I'm good. Like, if it's a boy, fine. Well, cross that bridge." But
Mhm.
like, if I have a girl, I know some dads are like really gunning for a boy. You know what I mean? And we're
I
gonna this, that,
was.
and the other.
I
What's
was.
that?
I
You
was.
was?
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I wanted a
It's all
boy, but
good,
I knew I was gonna have a girl though, and like I wouldn't change
I
it for
think
the
you
world.
feel it, man. I think you
Yeah,
feel it, to be honest. Because I mean, I feel like I felt it. I think that's why, like, I'm like, if it's a girl, cool. I mean, honestly, I feel like she's teaching me things about myself that I didn't know existed. You know what I mean? Like the
absolutely.
compassion and some, I want to say patience, but sometimes she can cause me to, have a short fuse because I feel like maybe it's like me looking at myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I think that's why maybe we butt heads sometimes. But she's also a daddy girl too, because she was basically into like the My Hero. She can tell you all the characters, because the Japanese names they still trip me up. I don't care like how much I've been watching the shows. I'll call this character by the wrong name. She's like, "No, Dad, that's Kirishima," and all this other stuff. And
Yeah,
she could tell you all the superheroes at one point. Probably still can, but like she knows all like not all the Transformers, but like the main groups. You know what I mean? The
yeah.
Decepticon, Autobots, and stuff like that. Like she knows all that stuff, man. But for the most
Do you cry more now that you have a daughter?
well, I think honestly, I do cry more. Yes, since I've had my daughter, like honestly, the day she was born, like I was, just
In
in
tears.
tears and couldn't
Yeah,
even get it together, bro.
yeah,
And my wife was like, "Tighten up." And it's actually on the table, like, getting cut open. I'm like, "Damn."
yeah. Tighten
But,
up.
I think I became more emotional after, like, honestly, when
Absolutely.
my brother passed, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Since then, it just kind of like when those waves hit, at first I was running from them, but now that I'm becoming more like, I guess, aware of my feelings and stuff like that, I try to like embrace it and just let it happen when it happens, because I mean, as men, I think we need to be more aware of our feelings, what I mean? Be more in touch with our feelings because, it's just we're
Absolutely.
human. We have a wide range of emotions. And I think I guess to submerge those feelings is like taking a beach ball in the water, you know what I mean? And trying to submerge that full blown beach ball. It's like you're gonna waste so much energy trying to do something that won't ever happen, and those feelings are gonna resurface eventually and it's gonna pop up and explode and then you're gonna have to apologize to everybody like I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. So I
Yeah.
think it's important that we're more in touch and in tune with our emotions, especially just as men. Because when we got a daughter, we need to show them that we can manage our emotions so that she's not, and computing love with aggression. You know what I mean? Because we
Hmm.
don't know how to. say, "I'm upset," or, "I'm frustrated that you did this and not that." You know what I mean? Like, to be
Mhm.
able to communicate and talk. So, that's where I'm at with it, essentially.
No, I get it.
So
Totally get that.
so last question, because we're at, about a hour and 15 in. It's the last day of elementary school, and you had the chance to walk home with the child you once were. What would you say to him?
I would say, spend as much time with your mom as you can. Damn.
Nah, that's all good, bro. You got me at the beginning, dude. Before you even
Yeah.
opened up, I was about to fold, man. I ain't gonna
Sorry.
lie.
No, yeah, I would say that, and I would say, um, there's a lot of times that life is gonna suck, and your mom's gonna be there, and then there's times it's gonna suck and she's not gonna be there. But it is not just your mom. Spend as much time with the people you love as you can, because you're gonna lose them all, right? But I lost my mom last year, the week after Mother's Day,
Oh,
so
I'm sorry, man.
no, it's all right. It's part of it. But so I would say, like your mother can be overbearing and nosy and frustrating and controlling as far as like inserting herself into your life when you don't want her in your business and all of these things. But everything that your mother does uh is out of love. She has the biggest heart and does it for you because she loves you so much. So give her some grace and stop being a little asshole to her sometimes. and and just realize that like cherish every second you got with her. And at the end of the day, when life's bad, it's all gonna be okay. Like I think everybody needs to know that, especially a kid, especially one
Yeah,
like when you're in middle school and you're going through puberty and all these emotions and rage and sadness and all of that. And like college, you're trying to figure out who you are and don't know all of that stuff. You just need somebody to tell you it's gonna be okay. I don't think we do that enough. So that's what I would tell younger me, especially 10-year-old
I
me.
wish I had an air horn, bro. Like I smash that button for you.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to get too
All
deep, but
good.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. That was good, man. That was awesome. Yeah, shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say, but
Ah,
that's
sorry.
awesome. I mean, I really do appreciate having you on here, bro. It's been cool talking like comics and like, 90s nostalgia and stuff like that. Just hearing all the people that you got to meet at the conventions and stuff. Like you definitely inspired me to just go after, doing more stuff like that. You know what I mean? And actually you've encouraged me and inspired me to do stuff like that for my daughter more, so I
I appreciate
appreciate
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, man, I appreciate you having me. I'm glad we got to have this conversation,
yeah,
and just, talk about stuff. I'm sure I probably went on some rants and we had to cut some questions out, but I appreciate, anytime you want to
it's
have me
all
to
good,
talk,
man.
I'm cool, man. I appreciate it.
That's why I like these podcasts, man. Like, I like the rants. I like how, the conversations happen, like, organically and stuff like that. Like, it's all good, dude. Like, I don't
Yeah.
try to, shut people up or cut people off like that, man. I just like to let them be them and do them, man. So, to
Cool.
me, that's what podcasts should be for, man, for real.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
And anytime you want to come on and talk about a movie from 2001, bro, you just let me know what movie you
Yeah, I'm
like, and,
down,
and we
bro.
can
Like, yeah,
we can bring you on.
I'll start doing some research, or I mean, if y'all have any like
I've got a
movies that you,
schedule that I can send you.
yeah, yeah,
That'll
that'd be
have
cool.
I got a schedule that's
Yeah,
like all of our weekly episodes and kind of like our themes and everything that we've already done versus like upcoming episodes and when we plan to record them. So anything that you're like into, let me know, man.
yeah,
We're I think our episode on exit wounds, which I hosted, drops next week. So I'm excited for that one.
yeah,
And the next one that we're recording is Evolution, which is the Sean William Scott movie.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, with
yeah,
David Duchovny and Julianne Moore. Yeah, fun stuff. So
yeah, yeah. I think I may have seen. I think I've only seen it when it came out. Like I think maybe when it was on like TV or DVD or
mm,
something like that. But it's
yep,
been since then. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah, like yeah, I'd like to do that. Like, that sounds like fun, man, for real. And if maybe you want our daughters can get together and we can get
yeah,
together
yeah,
and chill or something like that, and just
absolutely,
if
bro.
you want, no pressure. But
Of course. How old is your daughter, by the way?
She's 7. She turned 7
7.
yesterday.
Okay,
So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, so my daughter, like I said, she's 8. She'll turn 9 in August, so that would be great, man.
okay,
We'd love that for
cool.
sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude the Hidden Stats podcast, and I do appreciate y'all tuning in. I've had fun having Slate on here, and I look forward to having more people on here, and I look forward to seeing which podcast I can hop on his show. And how did you all go about coming together? Like, did you go to college with those friends or?
So, Josh, who's the one that kind of came up with the idea for the show, and he's like the main host. But each of us, we host episodes like we kind of rotate, right? For movies that we all enjoy and that we drafted. But Josh, I met in college, and he's a big Mighty Morphin Power Rangers nerd. And
Oh hell yeah!
yeah, he actually wrote a book called More Phenomenal, which is like basically the biography of like how the show was created and made in the US, and like it's like the oral
Wow.
history of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's on Amazon right now for like $8. Get you a copy of it, bro. It's
Yeah, I
awesome.
got Jason back there up on the shelf
Yeah.
behind me. If I don't know if you see the Red Ranger up
Yeah, I
top,
see
but
him.
yeah.
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 So check that out if you got a chance. But so that was his big passion project. And I was one of his like groomsmen at his wedding and stuff. And so we've been really close friends for a long time. And after
Good
he
stuff.
finished More Phenomenal, he's been trying to figure out what he wants to do next. Hasn't he thought about writing a book about movies from 2001, 25 years later? And he didn't really seem to think that that was something that was going to work too well. He thought it would be better as an audio/video file. And
Mhm.
so he kind of approached me about it and asked me what I thought. And I was like, dude, I would love for you to do a podcast about it. I thought it would be really cool, and told him, hey, if you ever need help, let me know, because I know how much of a struggle it can be as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And, I don't mind to come on and do an episode or two because, he knows that I love movies, and him and I had seen multiple movies together, and we have a different taste. Like some movies, I'm like, I can't believe you like that movie. And like, I, hated it, he liked it, or vice versa. But he asked me if I wanted to, do the podcast full time. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then he brought in a girl named Allison, who's actually, it's cool because she's one, a female perspective, but
Yeah.
two, she was in college in 2001. So she's like 9 years older than us, I think. So like she was about 18, 19. We were like 10 years old when all this is going down. So we got like her
Right.
perspective too. And he works with her, and they
That's
both
cool.
do media for, they both do media for University of Kentucky Healthcare. So that's what they do, is they make like little social media clips and videos and all that good stuff. So it just kind of became a perfect storm of all three of us. And I didn't know anything about her until we started recording. And it's been a great friendship, like with her as well. Like I consider her a friend now, and it's cool to get to
Yeah.
do it
It
with three
seems like
people that you're
y'all
comfortable with.
it seems like y'all have good chemistry with
I
one
appreciate
another,
it.
because I was watching the one about the Jurassic Park 3.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, so but and I love the title, the Not Another 2001 movie,
Yeah.
podcast. And like I like the Not Another Teen Movie
Right.
with a spoof. It's just I still think about that, I want to say daily basis, but like
It's
quite
yeah.
often, man,
It's a mouthful too. Like when you tell somebody that, it's kind of easy to remember, I guess, but it feels like it's a
Right.
mouthful. But it's funny because like we haven't covered Not Another Teen Movie yet, but it is on the list as far as like it is a 2001 movie, and
Yeah,
yet
yeah.
somehow none of us drafted it. So, um, but it's definitely an episode that we're going to discuss for sure. If you haven't checked out
Well,
the April Fool's episode and you're into comedies, check
okay.
that one out. That came out April Fool's Day. It's one of our recent releases. It's a bonus episode, so it's a little bit looser. But each of us picked a movie that is a parody, and we all
Mhm.
talk about those. So we Josh picked Scary Movie 2. We discussed that. I picked Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, so we discussed that. But then also Allison picked Wet Hot American Summer, and it's the first movie Bradley Cooper's ever in, and it
Mm.
is the best. Paul Rudd is in it. Elizabeth Banks is in
Yeah.
it. It's a movie that made no money. Nobody knows about it,
Yeah.
and it is free on YouTube, and it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. So
Okay, I'll have to check that out because I think I've seen the movie where they're older and they go back to the camp. If
part
I'm
two,
not
yeah, they
Yeah,
like
yeah,
revisit a few years back, but the original
yeah.
movie is great, man. It's really fun.
Yeah, Imma have to check that out, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what's up, though. So, yeah, I'd like to hang out all day, man. I really
Yeah,
would, dude. I appreciate y'all tuning in and stay tuned for the next episode. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. All right. Peace.
appreciate you.